Hello, my friends, and welcome to the Secrets of a Witch podcast with me, Sabrina Scott, where I talk all about life, love, healing, witchcraft, magic, feminine energy, tarot, mediumship, and of course, everything in between. So, hello. It is so good to be back. I took a few days off because if you guys are on my Instagram, you will know I had to go for a doubleheader, colonoscopy and endoscopy, gastroscopy, something like that. Tubes being shoved every which way, and it was pretty brutal. The anesthesia did not work on me, and the same thing happened during my angiogram I had a few years ago during the pandemic. And so I think I'm gonna have to talk to somebody about why, for some reason, conscious sedation has literally zero effect on me at all. If you can, it's so weird. I've heard from so many people that their procedures, it was like the best nap they've ever had. And so I was kind of looking forward to that feeling, like this best nap ever. But quite to the contrary, I was awake and lucid and in pain the entire time and screaming and crying and also looking at the video live feed of my insides and talking to the doctor as she was doing the scope. And so on the plus side, I got to see in real time that apparently my insides look perfect and juicy and good, which was great news. So it's good to find that out immediately as opposed to later, I suppose. And I don't know, as Sagittarius, also, hello, Sagittarius season starts now, hooray. As a Sagittarius, I probably, as no surprise to you guys, am endlessly curious. I always want to learn everything about everything. And so it was cool to be able to see everything is going on in real time. Like, that was cool. On the other hand, it would have been nice to take that nap. And so my weekend was spent prepping for that and also just recovering. I am feeling a lot better today. So thank you so much to everyone who sent me good vibes and checked in with me and all of that. And if anyone is getting any of these procedures done anytime soon, I've got some hot tips for y'all that I will not share in this episode. But who knows, if I get enough requests, maybe I'll make a video or do a podcast episode about it, because I definitely asked so many people so many questions leading up to my procedure. And some of you guys might be like, why are you talking about this, Sabrina? Who cares? And to be honest, I think everyone should care because we all have bodies. And I think a lot of people avoid getting these types of checkups because we are afraid. We think about it as unpleasant. And to be honest, I rescheduled this procedure literally for like 2 years. I've been avoiding the hell out of it. So it feels good that it's finally over with. And I remember in some of my research about this, I saw an internet post of a woman who is my age, 33 years old, who got this done, and guess what they found? It was like terminal cancer. And so obviously that's not super common, but honestly, I'm one of those better safe than sorry type of people. And so this is just my PSA, like, no matter your sex, no matter your gender, honestly, like, it is something that is worth having a conversation about with your doctor, with your medical team, to see if this is a reasonable test for you. Like, again, I'm just a better safe than sorry type of person. I really believe in preventative medicine. I really believe in doing these checks just to make sure everything is really a-okay cool before things escalate. And I think that is also the reason for during the pandemic, I've talked about this a little bit, but not that much. Like, I had a cervical precancer scare. I was actually given the information in a incredibly painful colposcopy and cervical biopsy the day that Toronto declared a state of emergency for the pandemic. So that same exact day, I was also told that I had precancer cells in my cervix. And so, as you can imagine, I was like crying by myself on the street corner. If you guys are in Toronto, like walking down Queen Street, like feeling miserable, feeling like, oh my God, the world is ending with the pandemic. And also I just got this news about precancer. It was just like a fucking nightmare. And so because we caught it at the pre-cancer stage as opposed to the cancer stage, I was able to take the HPV vaccine and like clear everything out of my body and do all of these other things to hopefully help my body get rid of it. And I found out recently that my body did clear that pre-cancer without needing any kind of surgical thing to remove it, right? But I do know some people who, you know, they maybe took longer between screenings, maybe due to their doctor's suggestions or maybe due to their own kind of like being too busy or not thinking about it, who did get that immediate news of like, oh, guess what? You have cancer in your 30s. Like, let's get it out immediately, right? And so I didn't expect I was going to babble about this today, but I do think it's really important. Just like get yourself screened, do all of that stuff, see what tests you're eligible for, see what you can do just to learn more about the state of your body. If you're having weird symptoms, hell, even if you're not, like looking at your family history, seeing what you're susceptible to, seeing what the weaknesses in your body are, honestly, like I think it's a good idea. And so, I don't know, just like health and wellness is really important to me. And if we're, you know, witches, we still have bodies, right? And so I just think it's an important thing. And so if you've been avoiding doing any of this stuff, this is just my recommendation. Please go talk to your doctor. Please go have a conversation. See what tests make sense for you to do based on your age, based on whatever, and see what you can book in, because again, better safe than sorry. You never know what is going on. You never know, right? So anyway, all that to say, as far as I'm aware, I'm good. Touch wood, as I always do, and always thankful to have access to that here in Canada. I do remember what it was like to grow up without really any health care, and like that's why I got my tonsils out last year around this time up here in Canada, even though I had massive tonsils ever since I was a kid. Like in the States, from what I can recall, we just like couldn't afford to take them out, right? And so I had to take them out up here in Canada in my 30s as opposed to getting it taken out in the States when I was a little kid. So I totally get that not everyone has equal access to medical treatment and healthcare, and some of it, like for us here, it's covered by the government and our income taxes and all of that. In the States, obviously, it works a little bit differently, and I did grow up with that, so I understand how hard that can be for a lot of folks. But anyway, this is just my PSA. Get yourself checked. I know it's not always super easy or super fun, but I think it's an important thing to do. And if anyone is interested in stuff around witchcraft and magic and how to prepare for surgeries and timing your surgeries and timing your procedures while keeping in mind different magical principles and spiritual principles and astrological timing, I do have a witchcraft, feminine energy, and plastic surgery masterclass that is available. You can buy that today on my website. Just click the courses section, and then the personal transformation tab is how it will look today. I am going to be shifting things around in the new year in terms of the navigation, but that's where it is right now. You can buy that today. And I'm also going to be putting that on sale actually for Black Friday. So if you want to wait a few days, it will be there at 50% off for Black Friday. And I know it's called plastic surgery, but really you can apply it to any medical procedure that you have scheduled, whether it's cosmetics, plastics, or something that is more mandatory, like for me getting my tonsils out last year. Okay, so that's that. That's my medical PSA. I think it's important, right? I think, spirituality and science and medicine and witchcraft, for me, all of these things really blend together in a cohesive way. I don't think we need to choose one or the other. I think science and magic are beautiful bedfellows. Let's just put it that way. But anyway, enough about that. I wanted to say happy Sagittarius season to everybody. So as you guys know, this is my season as a Sag. Sagittarius is a sign that is all about learning, teaching, philosophy, wandering, roaming, exploring. Sagittarius is also the luckiest sign of the zodiac since we are ruled by Jupiter, planet of expansion, abundance, wealth, all of these nice, juicy things. So big high five to all my fellow Sagittarius siblings. Love all of you. Sag, honestly, I think is the best sign. I guess everyone thinks their sign is the best sign. And so personally, I'm glad Scorpio season is over. I always find Scorpio season a bit of a doozy. It can be a little bit brutal. Like, it's a bit of a being pulled through the ringer, transformative experience. Scorpio rules the death card of the tarot, and so honestly, it's never usually a good time, but it often involves transformation that we need to experience in order to move up to that next level of our lives, right? It's just one of those things, death and rebirth, and the cycle is never ending, right? Like, we're never done being reborn. We're never done growing. We're never done getting rid of what no longer serves us, right? We always can be in this cycle towards more growth and becoming more of who we are meant to be. I think it's important. Okay, what else do I want to say about Sagittarius season? I would say it's a great time to focus on learning, and I think that it's kind of perfect, right? Because at least over here in Toronto, in the Northern Hemisphere, it is kind of dark and gloomy. It's very like spooky vibes, very cold, very crisp. Yesterday it actually rained all day here, which is a little bit unusual for this late in November. But it's a season where, I don't know about you guys, but I want to be at home drinking a coffee and being all cozy in my giant socks and sweatpants and lots of pillows, and I want to be reading some books with some candles on and some music going. And Sagittarius season is a perfect time to read some more books, take up more learning, some more exploring of the world around us, whether that's through, again, learning and reading books or taking a course or expanding our mind in some kind of way, or whether that's on embracing the physical roaming, maybe going on a trip if that's accessible for you, or taking longer walks around your neighborhood. I know that my phone, whenever I'm walking anywhere, it took me years to realize it was doing this, but it tracks my steps and my kilometers and how much I'm walking every day. And I realized that actually I do tend to walk a decent amount in the fall and around this time of year, because you're not really going to break out in a sweat as easily if it's pretty cold. And so for me, I appreciate a fall long walk a lot more than a summertime long walks. In the summertime, I'm always like sweating and just like dripping and overheating and all these things. And in the fall, it just feels a lot more crisp and relaxing and meditative. And so with this season, it really is a time to learn, to reflect. And Sagittarius season goes right into the late middle of December, right? So just right before Christmas, a few days before Christmas, it switches into Capricorn season, totally different vibe. And we'll talk about that later when we get there. Let's focus on Sag season for now. But it's almost the last sign of the year, right? Capricorn is the last sign of the year, taking us into the new year, the new calendar year. And so Sagittarius, it makes so much sense to have this contemplative, philosophical, reflective, wandering, expansive sign right before that switch of the calendar year, right? Because what better sign than Sagittarius to help us think through and think about how did our year go? And who do we want to be? How do we want our year to go in next year? Really, really important stuff. Because if we don't stop to really consider this, if we don't stop to readjust our compass, oftentimes we are going to just end up somewhere kind of random, and then 10 years are going to pass and we're going to be like, what? How did I end up here? This is like not at all where I intended to go, right? And that is something that's possible to happen to all of us, right? It can even happen to me if I am not super intense about what do I want to do, what do I want to be, where do I want to go, etc. And to be honest, the last few years I have coasted a little bit for a few different reasons: surgeries, moving, just at that season of life and business and PhD stuff and just a lot going on. And so I have been in that coasting kind of like chill state for a little while. If you guys knew me from before the pandemic, I was in this constant state of movement, a million conferences, a million talks, a million this, a million that. My output was just like excessive all the time, going at 150% at all times. And now I have not been going at 150% over the last few years. Does that mean that my trajectory has become a little bit slower in terms of what I've been able to accomplish? Absolutely. Right? And so sometimes it is important to take those steps back, contemplate, reflect, and to be in a space of reflection and contemplation on a pretty regular basis, right? Once a month can be a great thing to do, whether that's with the calendar month or with the astrological sun seasons, whatever works for you. But I know that this astrological month, I'm going to be doing a lot of reflecting, a lot of thinking, a lot of planning, and considering what I want my next year to look like in terms of my artistic and creative output, my PhD output, and the shape of my business offerings. And so I guess one thing I should say is this is not available on my website anywhere at the moment, but I will be offering year ahead readings, year reflection readings, year ahead readings is all kind of the same thing. Looking back on how did this previous year go, and also looking forward into the year ahead, where do we want to go, where do we end up, and what is the vibe we should be embracing every single month ahead. So I only have a few spots for that since it is incredibly exhausting and time consuming for me to do. As enriching as it is, it does take a lot of my bandwidth. So if you are interested in being one of those people that books in for a year ahead reading, I would love to hear from you. Just reach out in all the ways you know how. CEO@SabrinaMScott.com is the way to get in touch with me. You can also get in touch with me on Instagram, Sabrina M. Scott. What else I want to say? Feminine Energy Without Bullshit. It was supposed to close today, but I'm going to extend it for a little bit, just a few days, just because I was a little bit MIA with my procedure on Monday. It kind of threw me off. So I do want to give you guys a little bit more time to kind of think through that. And then I also want to remind you guys that my Black Friday sale for almost everything is happening on Friday. So everything except my tarot readings and my Without Bullshit courses will be on sale for 50% off. I have never done such a big discount in my life. But I really wanted to just show you guys my gratitude for being here with me on the journey, supporting my work, being here in my sphere, whether you've bought something from me in the past or not, whether that was a book, a sweater, a tarot reading, a coaching session, one of my mega courses, or whether it was just a one-off workshop. I just want to say I appreciate each and every one of you, and I know that financial times right now are a little bit challenging for a lot of folks, and so I just wanted to give back a little bit and just show you guys that I think you guys are awesome, and I'm just deeply grateful for you guys giving me your time and attention and energy through listening to this podcast, through being on my newsletter, through being a part of my world in some kind of way, whether it's on YouTube or Instagram or whatever. I just really appreciate all of you guys. So stay tuned for that 50% off of like everything except for tarot readings and then Without Bullshit courses. If I can even talk today. And what else I want to say, you guys? I feel like there's one or two more things. Oh yeah, so I actually did a really interesting tarot for the week ahead yesterday on YouTube. Very interesting poll for this week ahead. Tons of major arcana, including the Tower. So please do give that a watch. Very, very interesting energies are swirling around this week. Lots of stuff happening, especially since it's American Thanksgiving. I know a lot of y'all will be interfacing with family. There could be some tension there, some conflict, some of that. So do give that video a watch, give it a listen to prepare you for whatever is all going to be going on this week for you with these really big energies that are swirling. And if you didn't catch my feminine energy journey live on YouTube, I think I did that sometime last week. It's actually my most popular YouTube live that I've done, which is kind of cool. So go give that a watch or listen. If that resonates with you, you want to learn more about the feminine energy thing, that would be a place to do it. So you can still sign up for Feminine Energy Without Bullshit at SabrinaMScott.com/FEWOBS. And what else do I want to say? I think that's it. You can pop around my website, sabrinamscott.com. Again, if you've got any questions about anything, if you want to let me know what you're struggling with right now, what you're conflicted about in your life, let me know how can I be of service to you. CEO at sabrinamscott.com is always a little bit better than Instagram, but either one is fine. Again, my Instagram is Sabrina M. Scott. And do check out my YouTube, youtube.com/Sabrina Scott. No M, because I guess there is less Sabrinas on YouTube, which works just fine for me. Anyway, friends, that's it. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, wonderful afternoon, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Much love. Bye.